Thank you, Mark. Well, England's first week of Euro 2020 progressed from expectation to frustration and isolation at the end of the second week, knowing they've successfully navigated. The Three Lions assured to be not to be one of the 8 teams to face the earliest of exits. And whilst there still remains an element of doubt as to whose, whens and wheres from this point on, all will become abundantly clear over the next 24 hours. But with England having made it through, tonight is a night when all eyes are on the performance rather than the result. The ability to be on the front foot, to create chances, to set down a marker. A combination of forwards that haven't started together before, including the people's choice Jack Grealish. England hoping for the right formula rather than a formulaic display. It is Pickford in goal, Walker at right back, Stones alongside the returning Maguire and Shaw on the left. A back four that has played together once before in Albania in March. Rice and Phillips in midfield. Saka and Sterling wide as the Arsenal teenager makes his tournament debut. And Kane up front, who's scored in all 3 of his previous games against the Czechs. Right now, the Czechs top the group. Victory in Scotland, a point against Croatia. A slender goal difference advantage means they only need a draw tonight to win the section. England had their number on their last visit here in 2019. Raheem Sterling's hat-trick underpinning a 5-0 victory. The revenge was served later that year, and tonight the Czechs have named 9 of the side that beat the Three Lions in Prague. They have Vansleek in goal, Safal of West Ham, Chaluska, Callas of Bristol City and Bozil, Holesh and another hammer, Tomas Souček in midfield, and Mazepus, Darida and Yankto in support of Schick up front. England in all white tonight, the Czechs in red shirts. And before kick-off, England players take the knee, reiterating the message that there is no room for racism. Well, against Scotland, England were able to take a point. Now against the Czechs, they have to make one. A place in the last 16 is already guaranteed. But the next 90 minutes won't just set the itinerary for the rest of the tournament. It could well set the mood too. And England, defending the end away to our right-hand side, trying to get forward on the front foot from the very off. Czechs turning it forward and it'll be chased by Yankto down the left-hand side of the penalty area, but easily nodded back for Pickford. And it's a long throw from him, taken down by Luke Shaw on the England left. Can't find Harry Kane. Headed forward by Declan Rice and then very quickly away through the back line from Chaluska. And England in a position to mop up at the back. And the man alongside me is Stuart Pearce. And Stuart, interesting how England have just aligned the front four in the early stages.
Yeah, it is. Well, they started off with Sterling on the left-hand side, Grealish as a number 10 and Saka on the right-hand side, but I don't know whether it's just where they've ended up, but Sterling's just gone into that number 10 role, and I think they'll play fairly narrow, whichever it is, potentially.
Bukayo Saka starting on the right-hand side. He had an outstanding game for Arsenal against Slavia Prague back in April, where he was up against Jan Bozil, who he's up against again tonight, playing at left-back. Saka so superior in that particular battle. When they meant that Bozil was taken off at half-time, Saka had taken him on and beaten him 5 times in that first 45 minutes and scored an excellent goal as well. That may well be instrumental in his selection tonight. Now Kane has dropped deeper to pick up the ball, but used it to good effect. Trying to find Grealish, wins the seconds. Shaw forward for Sterling. Sterling lobs it over the goalkeeper, and it's hit the post. And for the 3rd successive game, England have hit the frame of the goal inside the opening 10 minutes. On that occasion, an excellent ball for great movement in behind from Raheem Sterling. That's something we haven't seen enough of in the tournament so far. Brilliantly found by Shaw. Goalkeeper stuck in no man's land. Sterling lobbed it over him, but it bounced with topspin and flicked onto the post.
Yeah, goalkeeper swept it up. He panicked. He sat back. Sterling got there first. And it's that type of ball and that type of run that caused Scotland the odd problem at times. And I think we've got the ability to turn teams round and get in behind if we possibly can. Sterling certainly got the pace to be a problem and a threat.
Well, it was Foden in the game against Croatia, John Stones against the Scots, and now Raheem Sterling hitting the post very early on in the game against the Czech Republic. As far as the maths are concerned tonight, I'm sure you're aware England must win to win the group. They'll be runners-up with a draw. They could conceivably finish third in the group. If they lost and Scotland won, it would take at least a 3-goal swing. And in the other game, which is live for you right now over on TalkSport 2, if Scotland against Croatia is a draw, they're both out. If it's not a draw, then the winners go through, and the losers and Finland will be eliminated. We'll keep you up to date throughout the course of the night, of course, and the conclusion of Group D here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. And here on TalkSport, a very bright England start in the opening 3.5 minutes. Jim Proudfoot, Sol Campbell, Stuart Pearce talking you through the action. Grealish with the ball, running at the Czech back line, and Luke Shaw drives it in. It hits Mazepust and goes out of play for an England throw. But already, more signs of attacking intent, more signs of England being on the front foot and being able to take the game to the Czechs.
Also as well, flexibility of movement. Grealish and Sterling not to be seen in one area all the time. Straight away from the offset, Grealish has been central, he's been left. Sterling the same as well. They've got flexibility to interchange, and that will cause the Czechs a problem.
Declan Rice being put under pressure by Thomas Souček, two men that know each other so well. Rice hardly missed a game this season in the West Ham United midfield, and Souček didn't miss any after his move from Slavia. And you can hear what England's start to the game has meant for the England supporters all around. It's that little lift of atmosphere. We're a bit cagey in here to start with. Kane has dropped very deep again, splitting the centre-halves for a moment as he hit a long diagonal forward there for Saka. Božil got there and was able to head it back to his goalkeeper, Thomas Vaslik. England coming into this with a few defensive worries. Only 1 goal conceded in the last 8 games, only 5 in the last 18 matches. It's going forward where England have had the worries, but it's been a brighter start of the game. 5 gone, 0-0 here on TalkSport. Yankto, the shock of blonde hair, playing it back for his fullback Božil. Thomas Kalash picking up possession, working it back to his goalkeeper Thomas Vaslik, who is on the books of Sevilla in Spain but hardly featured for them over the course of the season. Only 5 league games in his campaign. And it's played forward by Chaluska, and a free kick's given against Declan Rice, who's just caught Darida. As a free kick the Czechs will take on halfway. 5.5 gone, 0-0, Stuart.
In the previous games, I don't think Harry Kane dropped deep enough to get on the ball and link play a little bit more. I don't know whether that's something they've had a look at, but even in this game so early on, he's dropped deep, and he's also got Grealish and Sterling going into his slot as well, which is causing a bit of a problem. It's not easy to mark when Kane does that, and if he can get turned and look for those balls, the little diagonals in behind to stretch the opposition, all well and good.
Jack Grealish foul for the first and probably not the last time tonight. It's an England free kick on halfway, taken quickly for Luke Shaw. Good tempo about it from England as well. Perfect playing conditions, really. A dry but a pretty coolish night here in North London. John Stones in possession for England now. I mentioned earlier this was an England back four that has played together once before in the victory with a clean sheet in Albania in the World Cup qualifiers back in the spring. Stones playing it forward here. Kyle Walker has ventured forward, tries to knot it down for Saka. It's knocked away by Božil. Phillips goes up for it in the midfield, so too Rice. Neither can get the ball under effective control. Schick links up the play, but Rice is in there to knock it away from Darida. Chance though for Safal to bring the ball forward down the right-hand side. Just shipped down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Stones comes out. There's Harry Maguire just knocking away from Mazepust. And he goes out for a throw that will be taken on the Czech Republic right. 7 gone at 0-0. Safal, the right back, the ball in his hand, trying to throw it forward over the top of Harry Maguire's head. Maguire doing well off balance, heads it away from Mazepust, who was trying to make the run in behind him, and then Sterling clears in towards Harry Kane. Kane ends up on the deck as Chaluska wins the ball, no foul. Souček wide for Safal, high ball inside the penalty area, really calmly defended by Kyle Walker, but his chest didn't pick for the balls it straight out for Walker to be able to bring it forward again into the feet of Calvin Phillips, who didn't heed the cry of man on from his teammates. Darida nearly embarrassing him, but just able to maintain possession. England can bring it a little bit further forward towards the edge of the centre circle. Declan Rice has got it. England hitting the post very early on with Raheem Sterling. And we're through 8 minutes in both games, still 0-0. So as things stand, the Czechs win the group, England through in second, and Scotland and Croatia both out, but a long, long way to go, Stuart.
Good to see you're on top of the permutations, Jim. I've seen your hand out there next to me, and it is every possible conundrum that might happen at the end of this evening.
It's easy at the moment when nothing has happened. England have a free kick as Harry Kane has caught one, just caught there by Thomas Callas, who heard from Stuart. Sol Campbell with us as well. Sol, what have you made of the start? Encouraging signs.
I think it's a fantastic start. I think everyone, it's nice to see all the England players on the half turn. Everyone's looking forward. The front line they've packed up. They're playing the ball behind the Czechs. So it's a positive start. That's what we want.
I think as well, with the flexibility of Sterling, Grealish and Kane sort of interchanging positions almost, it'll be really important that Shaw gives us plenty of width on the left-hand side, especially if he's got no one in front of him.
Well, England have decided, rather than working this free kick short, which seemed the original intention, that they've sent Maguire forward. First chance to launch one in towards the edge of the Czechs penalty area. Phillips and Shaw, the two players standing over it. The free kick itself is going to be taken only about 10 yards aside Czech territory. Shaw stands with his right arm above his head and prepares to just angle a left-footed ball in towards the far post, where it was attacked well by John Stones, but couldn't really get the contact that he wanted. So instead of going across the edge of the 6-yard box, flew wider than near post and goes out of play for a goal kick. But a decent first 10 minutes, albeit still goalless on TalkSport.
It's been a very good start. We've turned the opposition round on a couple of occasions, which has been really good. Interchange, as Sol mentioned, players getting on the half turn, which is really important when you've got the likes of Grealish and Sterling in your ranks as well. And just on that occasion, just looking to see who picked up Maguire as the two centre-halves went forward and split, and it was Souček, who's obviously been told Maguire is his responsibility.
As Harry Maguire has got the ball at his feet now. First time he's played any football since May the 9th. Ball work back for Calvin Phillips. Long right-footed ball over the top, trying to get Saka in behind the retreating Bozil, and it fell for Kane. Well, worth an attempt, and he was off balance, and it bounced a little bit awkwardly for him 25 yards out. He's rifled it over the bar as a result of that, but England getting themselves in good positions in the early stages. Let me remind you, over on TalkSport 2 right now, live from Hampden, Alex Crook and Chris Iwelumo talking through Scotland against Croatia. Still 0-0 in that game. Just a one shot in the first 10 minutes, which was an off-target effort from the Scots. A victory for them, and they will, with 4 points, definitely make it through in some position in the group. Almost certainly in third, but would be through. If you finish third, incidentally, the chances are, and it's not guaranteed, the chances are you'd get the Netherlands in Budapest if you finish third in this group. Saka with a chance to run forward now. Plays it out towards his right. Calvin Phillips is there, plenty of space. Good ball back into the feet of Saka. Good twist, turn inside the area. Stands it up towards the far post. The retreating Grealish heads it down. Kane back to it. That's a good ball. Grealish now, faced up by two. Chips it in towards the far post and it's headed in. What a start from England. A goal up inside 11 minutes. And Raheem Sterling does it again. His second of the tournament. A brilliant England start has a tangible reward. And it's Raheem Sterling, just a stone's throw from where he was brought up, underlining his status. England 1, the Czech Republic 0.
Well, England have punctuated that good start by a goal. Fantastic goal. Phillips done brilliantly well in his own half, surged past Souček. That all of a sudden opened things up for England. Once Kane got on the ball, supplied Grealish out wide, and a deft little chip to the far post was fantastic. And arguably one of the smallest players on the pitch, in at the far post for his second goal, Sterling.
This performance so far, chalk and cheese with what we've seen so far in the tournament, including the Croatia game as well. He deserved that early advantage.
Fantastic, really. They're relentless playing. All the second phases, kept the ball alive. It was fantastic.
Also as well, Jim, in these early stages, they've turned the opposition round. Sometimes the balls have been cut out, but what they've done is said, we're prepared to go in behind you, which has freed space up as well in front of the back line.
Strong challenge comes into the midfield from Declan Rice. The Czechs on the front foot, looking for an immediate response with Yankto. The left wing is out to the right. He's sent a cross-come shot in, which is blocked by a combination of Shaw and Grealish. Comes back out for Safal. Safal to Darida. Right-footed ball chipped inside the penalty area from the centre-half, Chaluska. And England are able to turn that one away. Back it comes from Holesh, who is a defensive midfielder. Not a natural candidate to wear the number 9 shirt. He's turned it forward, but the offside flag is up, and it's a free kick to England. Just a chance to calm things down. So as it stands then, England would top the group, and the Czechs would come second, Croatia third, and Scotland fourth. 1-0 to England. Raheem Sterling, the man that scored the winner against Croatia, making it 2 in 3 games in this tournament, 2 in 15 tournament games in his career. That's his 16th goal for England. 14 of them have come in the last 19 games, which is an outstanding return. And he got a hat-trick against the Czechs in qualifying, and he's given England the perfect start. But just a word of caution that England took the lead the last time that they played the Czechs. That was in Prague. They were a goal up in 5 minutes that day, and they pegged back pretty quickly and ended up losing. But England have done everything that could have been asked of them so far. They've hit the post and scored as Maguire plays it forward. Kane again dropping deeper, but dropping deeper with much more effectiveness than he did against the Scots. Trying to release Saka. Bojan on the back foot gets it back to his goalkeeper. Van Slik, desperate to get it onto his right foot, was put under all kinds of pressure off the ball there. England pressing from the front, win it back with Grealish, who has just lost his footing under pressure and wins a free kick wide on the left-hand touchline. And a chance for England to get the bodies forward and potentially score a second.
Yeah, a little too sharp there from Masopust, and as I say, Grealish just got a foul in this wide area, probably 18-19 metres out, and a good opportunity for Saka to whip one in.
So Saka comes across the taker. England have got plenty of bodies forward. Shaw is back, Walker's back, but everybody else is in there in a position to attack it. Grealish waits outside the penalty area for any second ball. Phillips making a run from the edge of the D. Everybody else inside the penalty area. Phillips starts in towards the near post. No flick on forthcoming, but it's steered away and goes just the right side of the corner flag for England for a corner, which will be taken on the left flank. England 1, the Czech Republic 0 on TalkSport.
Yeah, England always, when we see them in the main, play with an air of confidence. They've been asked to take the ball from the back and be composed in their football. But I think tonight, a good start and the goal probably is exactly what they needed to settle them down a touch.
In comes the corner from Shaw, half cleared, out only as far as Saka. Saka edge of the area. Oh, I thought he was brought down. Referee says no foul. Looked as though he's going to point for a free kick on the edge of the D. He didn't. The Czechs will try and break. Sterling's done well. Hasn't won the ball back, but he has forced the error. And Schick couldn't quite control it. Runs out of play for a throw. But everybody from an England perspective irate that they felt it should have been a free kick at the other end of the field. It will be an England throw to restart play. Now a moment of significance at Hampden Park, where Croatia leads Scotland by a goal to 0. So the perfect start for England, not the perfect start for Scotland, who are going to have to come from behind to win that game if they're to stay in the tournament. Croatia leading by a goal to 0. That game live for you right now over on TalkSport 2. It was the former Everton man Nikola Vlasic that got the goal. And it's just been put up on the big screen. That's the cheer you can hear from the England supporters. Shaw on the right wing, only a couple of yards in for the right hand side. Very similar position to the free kick that England had created just 2 or 3 minutes previously, and a chance for Yankto to put a decent delivery in here. The first set-piece test for England to defend, Stu.
Yeah, and as I say, these are dangerous. You know, I'm acutely aware of Souček's power in the air. Schick as well has demonstrated and they've got a decent presence in the box as well. Decent ball in will cause a problem. It's an outswing by Kufau potentially.
Yankto puts his right arm above his head. 6 in there to attack it. Works short actually towards the edge of the penalty area. Darida taking a touch, pressurised by Saka. Now they work it wide out to the left-hand side of the penalty area. No cross forthcoming yet. Yankto's still got it though. Left-footed ball comes in now and is blocked well by Phillips. And goes out of play for a throw on the Czech left wing. England 1, the Czechs 0. Scotland 0, Croatia 1.
I'm not sure that they took the right option there, I really don't. They decided not to whip the ball in the box from a really good area out wide, played it short across the face of the box, trying to get a shooting opportunity that was never there.
Well, a chance just to calm things down for Jordan Pickford, ball in his hand. Just drops it down inside the penalty area now. Don't forget, Jose Mourinho's back with us tonight in the final hour of our programme. After the conclusion of this game, we'll be hearing from our England correspondent Faye Carruthers, who will be speaking to Gareth Southgate and all the headline makers. And when we finish here at 11, Jason Cundy and Andy Goldstein taking your calls on National Radio tonight. 08717 223344 the number. Get your calls in, have you say on TalkSport from 11 on the Sports Bar on Euro Game Day Live tonight. And tomorrow morning, Eurosport's Breakfast, Laura Woods, Ali McCoist and Andros Townsend. At the moment, Andros will be happier than Ali. Yankto bringing the ball forward, left-hand side of the penalty area here for the Czechs. Still a long way to go. Ball inside the penalty area intended for Schick. Stones is in there, ducks his head in, heads it away. And it goes out of play for a throw on the Czech Republic left-hand side. A spirited response without Jordan Pickford having to make a save yet. 20 gone. England leading after Raheem Sterling's 12th minute goal. The Czechs, a little reverse ball inside the area that Saka can knock away. Kane the only out ball for England, and he's putting the pressure on Cheluska with an economy of effort, knowing the battles to try and win, and the battles that are definitely going to be lost. As a consequence, he just let the ball run back there. Grealish puts the press on with a little bit more intent. The Czechs will try and play it forward. Souček letting the ball run through the midfield. England win it back. Sterling playing it forward. Now Kane goes up through the gears. Kalash read the situation well and slid in and knocked it away from him. And the Czechs mop it up with Souček. And he will bring it inside the centre circle and find Holeš. Played back to Souček again. Tall, blonde-haired West Ham midfielder finds his club teammate Safal. Back for Souček again. Mazepust on the right-hand touchline. Souček tries a little nutmeg of Luke Shaw. Darida goes down, no foul. Played away by Harry Maguire. Just chipped forward for Raheem Sterling. Couldn't find him, but Declan Rice wins the seconds. He turns it forward, just over the head of Raheem Sterling, and the Czechs in their blood-red shirts able to bring the ball forward again, and then another foul by Shaw, who's blocked off Darida's progress on the right flank. And it's a free kick which will be taken by the Czechs midway inside the England half. Czech Republic 0, England 1, and Croatia leading Scotland by a goal to 0. Very nearly 2 with a Luka Modric effort that's just been tipped over the bar by David Marshall. But both games still 1-0, England leading, Scotland losing. Free kick taken by the Czechs. Chipped inside the penalty area, just trying to be a little bit too quick and cute. And it was over the shoulder of Mazepust and straight into the hands of Jordan Pickford.
The Czechs have had 2 free kicks now, and they really push up high. Their last man's probably about 30 yards out from goal, from the England goal, and any turnover of possession, a quick counter-attack, I fancy us to maybe, if we can turn ball over and get away quickly, for the likes of certainly Sterling's pace and Saka's pace.
Coming up, more live sport on across the network this week. Tomorrow, then we'll find out who they're going to be playing definitively tomorrow. 5 o'clock, Slovakia, Spain, and Sweden, Poland over on TalkSport 2. And then at 8 o'clock, it's Portugal, France, and over on 2 is Germany against Hungary. That's coming up for you tomorrow. Luke Shaw chesting the ball down here, who's just offside. Made a gallivanting run forward and took Yankto back with him. Interesting that they've swapped the 2 wingers over already. Yankto coming down towards this right-hand side, just trying to deal with the attacking forays of Luke Shaw down the England left. And the free kick taken for the offside is worked back to Cheluska. Czechs have a reputation for being a side that are good at pressing high. They certainly do it more than most other teams in the tournament, and they target the fullbacks when they have possession. But haven't been able to do it to good effect at all so far this evening. Yankto coming into a more central area now, the Czech Republic midfielder wearing 14. 4 from him to Patrick Schick. 3 goals to his name in the tournament so far. So foul to Mazepust on the right, fired in by him, chested down calmly by Kyle Walker, although he's only about 3.5-4 yards out, and Jordan Pickford had to be alert just to make sure that there was no embarrassment there. 1-0 to England on TalkSport.
I'll tell you what, the Czechs have put 2 or 3 balls in perfect areas. We're fortunate to have defenders in and around the drop zone.
Saka, lovely turn, he's gone all the way round Holesh, and still he has it on the edge of the penalty area, still he's got it. Holesh stuck a foot in, England pick it up with Sterling, 25 yards out. Shaw goes to his left, Sterling works it in towards Harry Kane, receives it with his back to the direction of play, but tees up Calvin Phillips, back from Phillips to Walker, corner of the penalty area, back behind square for Rice, but he's got space. And he finds Jack Grealish towards the edge of the box. Little layout from him to the left for Luke Shaw. Shaw's ball in towards the far post. He's headed away. England still playing with the dynamism and a purpose around the edge of the Czech penalty area. And the crowd loving what they're seeing. Maguire. Now to Rice. Sterling drops out a little bit deeper to pick it up. Good rotation of fluidity from England. Rice. Good ball between the lines. Finds Kane. Kane to Phillips, to Grealish, to Shaw, then to Sterling, almost quickly as you can say it. England's tempo impressive. Sterling, back to Grealish, he takes it on the half turn and works it back inside the centre circle for John Stones, but Stones can bring it forward. Just a conservative ball from him, and we haven't seen too many from England yet. Stones finding Phillips. Phillips to Saka, now to Maguire. Maguire bringing it forward. And then it's an excellent ball. He's found Harry Kane. Kane checks. Good save from the goalkeeper. Kane got it back onto his right foot. His best moment of the tournament so far. Bottom left-hand corner of the 6-yard box. Cross-come shot. Hoping that if the keeper saved it, he just palmed it down in the path of Sterling. It's a really good stop from the keeper. He took all the pace out of it, and the Czechs were able to hammer it away. But another good England move, and it ends up in a corner, which will be taken on the left flank by Luke Shaw.
Yeah, top quality movement there by Kane. Maguire's ball was fantastic. He also had a run of Sterling going the other way as well, which stretched the Czech back line.
Shaw takes a couple of steps, fires the corner in, bounces once on the edge of the penalty area, straight through for Phillips. Phillips to Saka, Saka to Grealish. Grealish drifting in, good ball into a dangerous area. John Stones there to attack it, but headed away by Chaluska. And it'll be brought down on the right-hand side of the Czech midfield by Mazepust, who was pushed by Grealish. Contact minimal, but free kick probably the right decision. We're in front of Artur Diaz, the referee. He was actually the man that took charge of England's 5-0 win against the Czechs back in 2019. And he's given a free kick here to the Czechs in their right-back position. England leading the Czechs by a goal to nil. Now let's check in with Sol Campbell. Sol, still happy?
Yes. I think it's a fantastic start. The movement between Sterling, Saka and Grealish is fantastic, and that's what we want, that kind of movement.
Patrick Schick just chesting it down, laying it back towards Mazepust. Mazepust to Sofal. Sofal 10 yards outside the penalty area. Back for Thomas Souček. And Souček turning. Czechs able to bring the ball forward. England have got everybody but Harry Kane back behind the ball here. And that defensive effort has got the ball half clear, but only half clear. Souček, shot from distance from Holesh. And Jordan Pickford did well, diving away to his right-hand side, beat it round the post for a corner, but the recriminations were instant. Not happy at the amount of space that was given around the edge of the penalty area there, and the Czechs have their first corner of the night.
Yeah, I'm not sure who could have got it any closer, to be fair. It was some distance, but it was arrowed right in the corner, and it was a very good save by Pickford.
Yankto preparing to take this corner. It's a left-footed away swinger towards the penalty spot. Holesh going up for it. Won the initial ball. It might bounce down. A little bit of pinball inside the penalty area. Saka, though, will be able to take it away. Then he turned in looking towards the danger zone and has ended up conceding possession. It's a throw which will be taken on the Czech right-hand side. Mazepust is going to leave it for Sofal.
Some of the quality they've put in our box already in this game, you know, they've not got people on the end of things in the main, but the quality of pass into the box and the aerial threat that they do have, it could be a real problem for us if we don't get that defensive line right.
And they just won another corner off Luke Shaw, which is the Czechs' second. A reminder that Croatia leads Scotland 1-0 right now over on TalkSport 2. England leading this one 1-0. So as it stands, it's England first, the Czechs second, Croatia third, and Scotland out. England have got Harry Kane back to attack the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box. Everybody else in behind him, and it's bounced down a little bit awkwardly. Shot comes in, that's blocked. Luke Shaw gets it half clear. Darida. Czechs asking some questions now. Good header away by Harry Maguire in the heart of the defence. And turn further forward. Kane on the counter-attack. He's got the beating of Sofal for pace, but the right back just had enough of a head start to be able to get there first, and he'll guide it back for Božil. And the Czechs will be able to mop up. Undoubtedly, the last 7 or 8 minutes has been their best period of the game so far, and just a couple of warning shots across the bows. England know that there's a lot of ground to go in this game yet. 1-0 though to England.
Without a doubt, they're showing such a good threat from balls into the box. I mean, they must have put at least 6 good balls, good quality crosses into dangerous areas, and it took a real scramble to get that one clear.
They're a side that try to play pretty direct, fast football at a good tempo. They play with a lot of transition. Mazepust and Yankto trying to get in from wider positions. Yankto has been given a free roll tonight. He's lurking everywhere. And he's the furthest forward now as the Czechs try and work it down the left-hand side, and they win a throw. Assault, what have you been most concerned about so far from a defensive perspective?
Definitely, what Stu was saying, the threat from set plays, the threats from crosses. You know, they're a big unit and they're industrious kind of players, and they'll keep on fighting. So the main thing, don't give those too many free kicks in and around our box.
Yankto takes a tumble inside the penalty area, but no real appeals from him that it should be a penalty. Long clearance from the Czech Republic back line. Brought down by Yankto, trying to get the better of Stones. And the Czechs have dominated possession over the last 10 minutes or so. Still England with the majority of it in the game as a whole. This has been another feature of England's tournament so far, their ability to start halves of games very quickly, and then perhaps just lose that tempo and cede a little bit of the advantage as the half wears on. And that's been the case again here this evening. Brilliant start. The first 20 minutes were exemplary from England, but since then the Czechs have been able to sort a few things out and have been the better team. Still England that have the advantage, courtesy of that 12-minute goal from Raheem Sterling.
I think if we can come through periods like this where we're under a bit of sustained pressure, it will stand us in good stead later on in the tournament, where undoubtedly when you're up against the better teams, you've got to sustain attacks and cope with that and come out with a clear head.
1-0 to England. Sofal laying it back to Andre Chaluska, who had a loan spat at Sunderland early in his career, playing his football these days for Sparta Prague in his homeland. Božil, the left back, down towards Yankto, is back on the left flank for a moment.
They're a well-drilled outfit, the Czechs, that is for sure. You can see that in their play. They're organised, they know exactly what they're trying to achieve in the game.
Yeah, Jaroslav Šilevi, the coach who won 4 caps for Czechoslovakia in the 90s, a very well-regarded coach. England on the front foot here. Have they won another corner? Yes, they have. And it was Saka, with his pace, a good outlet for England on the counter-attack, making ground up the right-hand side, firing an early cross in. And the Czechs deflected away for another corner, which is England's third. 1-0 to England, 32 minutes gone.
It's that little bit of pace that Sol was talking about that Saka's got. You know, he's got the ability to burst past, and we got 2 or 3 players in the matchups that have got the ability to do that and leave Czech players in their wake.
England's third corner will be taken on the right flank. Raheem Sterling stands inside the 6-yard box. Stones and Maguire both there to attack it, but just a little bit too much air underneath it, and it was easily headed away. England then go all the way back to Jordan Pickford from Kyle Walker. Pickford will play it out again and find Luke Shaw. And Shaw's got easy possession on halfway. Back from him to Declan Rice. Rice slowing it down just for a moment to find Walker. Walker, who dropped in between the two centre-halves, then passes it one stop further down the line for Stones. Out of the England right for Grealish. Calvin Phillips to Stones again. Now England have had a couple of episodes like this, but it's not possession for possession's sake as much as it was against the Scots, because they do look for a long diagonal there for Walker. Rice then heads it forward after the initial ball was repelled. Saka picking up the seconds. Kane back towards him. Was that a handball? Referee again put whistle to mouth and thought better of it. Kane winning it back finds Grealish. Grealish towards the edge of the D. Hits the referee. It's got to be a drop ball, ref, surely. And it will be. Looked for a moment as though he wasn't going to give it, but it was an England player that played it into him. He couldn't have seen, actually, the referee who had the touch that was that fired it into him there, because it came from behind him. And it will be a drop ball to England. And play resumes with Rice. Rice to Phillips. Maguire now for Shaw. Grealish had made a good run down the left. That created space for Sterling in a more central area, but he couldn't find a way through. It was Thomas Hollish that saw to that. And Yankta has it now and will play it through the midfield. England still leading 1-0. The cloud, which has been seemingly a perennial feature of the London skyline over the last 4 or 5 days, has now disappeared. A beautiful blue-skied evening here at Wembley. Yankta. Darida. Right-footed ball into space for him. Kyle Walker defending narrow has allowed Boswell the opportunity to bring it forward here. Right-footed ball in. Yankta trying to select fly, and it's put just wide. Glorious opportunity for Souček. The clearest chance so far. Loose ball falling to him a good 18 yards out, and he had to hit it first time. But if he could have found the far post, Pickford would have been nowhere near it, and England are mightily relieved that it's crept a fraction wide.
Well, this might come as a surprise to you, but the Czechs have put another good cross in the box. Yankto it was on that occasion. Luke Shaw, very, very brave, putting his head in the way. And then when it fell to Souček, I was waiting for the net to ripple. Rice has gone out. The Potato and Spuds, is it? Brigade? The pair of them. Rice and potato.
Potato Spud. Yeah, Declan Spud, that well-known player that plays for you.
Listen, I'm just pleased that Deck was there and just shut the angle slightly, but they've certainly caused the odd skirmish, and looking at the game at this moment in time, it might take another goal to actually win this game, the way the Czechs are pressurising our goal.
If you're just wondering what we're talking about, incidentally, Declan Rice and Thomas Souček, apparently according to one article in the press today, known as rice and potato salad at West Ham, which was news to the West Ham contingent in our team, which either means it's not true or you're completely out of the loop of what goes on at your club and you're not in any of the WhatsApp groups.
Neither would surprise me, if I'm being honest with you. A, that it's not true, or B, that I know nothing about it.
Here's Souček again in possession, played forward. Rice able to mop up, and he lays it back for John Stones. Stones chipping for us. A great take by Calvin Phillips. Stretched out the right leg, brought it down, then used it really intelligently. Played it forward for Bukayo Saka. He finds Grealish. Sterling on his bike to his left-hand side. Grealish drives on, leaves it for Sterling. Now Shaw on the overlap. Low ball whipped in. Took a deflection. Might just have hit the post. Goalkeeper got down at his near post area to make sure it was going wide. The net result of that is an England corner. But when England are moving the ball with pace, and it was a save rather than the frame of the goal, they're looking really dangerous now. Much more dangerous than at any stage in the tournament today.
This is the contrast with the two teams. England, quick, offensive, got the pace, turnover of possession, they're straight at you. The Czechs build up a little bit slower, get into wide areas, balls in the box, numbers going in.
5 to attack this Luke Shaw corner. It's headed down and just couldn't quite be brought under control there by John Stones, who has fallen.
We've just seen the value of Kyle Walker there, so it's quite incredible. You can leave him on his own, can't you, one-on-one? His pace is fantastic.
Pickford playing it down for Walker. Walker back for Jordan Pickford again. Pickford inside the penalty area. Just to reiterate what's going on in the game at Hampden Park, it's live for you right now over on TalkSport 2. Scotland trailing Croatia 1-0. Grealish dragging the ball down and turning in the midfield. Kane playing it in. Might break for Grealish. The defensive interception was important because it steered it away from Sterling. Wasn't particularly convincing, but it might have saved the goal. And that was good play from Grealish, taking the ball on the turn in the midfield and able to glide forward effortlessly.
Yeah,
there's a much better balance about England going forward.
There is. The interaction between the front four's fantastic. They've got energy, they've got legs, and they're not just restricted to one position. There's a lot of interchange, makes it very, very difficult for the Czech midfield and back line to pick up. And I've got to give a mention there. What a beautiful ball by Pickford, picking out Grealish.
Now the Czechs look long, and it's cleared. Calvin Phillips trying to win it back in the midfield has done the heavy lifting there for Declan Rice, and Rice is able to motor forward, and he's made 30-40 yards, rolls it into the path of Saka ahead of him. He's inside the area taking on Yankto, little step over, chips it towards the far post looking for Kane, and it's cleared by Andrei Shaluska. Only as far as Grealish. Nice reverse ball looking for Shaw. Shaw drives it in, it hits the defender and bounces down this time for Kane. England a goal up, 6 minutes from half time. Good value for it as well, notwithstanding the fact that Pickford has had to produce one excellent save from Holesh, and Souček's come close as well. England hit the post inside the opening couple of minutes with Sterling, who has himself scored. And if England win by one and Croatia win by one, which is the situation at the moment, it will be England that win the group and the Czechs would finish second. Croatia would go through as one of the best third place teams. Scotland, for their part, need 2 unanswered goals with 50 minutes to go at Hampden Park. England with 40 minutes having elapsed here as well, leading by a goal to nil. Declan Rice is in possession. This is an England side, and every time that my eye is drawn to this statistic on my piece of paper, I do feel as though I'm tempting fate, but it is an England side that have only conceded once in 14 hours and 6 minutes of play now. Jakub Moder of Poland, the man that scored the goal. Every time I read that statistic out as well, Mark Saggers shakes his head and berates me for tempting fate. Here's Declan Rice. Rice plays it back to his goalkeeper Jordan Pickford, controlling it on the edge of the 6-yard box. Bring you a podcast to kickstart your day from TalkSport as we nail the biggest talking points from Euro 2020 with punchy personality and opinion, and all the biggest interviews from the managers and players that matter. You can download or listen to the Euro Daily Podcast on the TalkSport app or wherever you get your podcasts. All the reaction to England and Scotland tonight coming your way first thing tomorrow. Calvin Phillips playing it out for Kyle Walker here for England, looking to double their advantage before half-time. Walker takes it on inside the penalty area and wins the corner off the retreating Yankto.
England have got that commodity in their team that scares the opposition, pace, and it really is a major weapon for any team to have.
Tyrone Mings has just gone out to warm up over on the far touchline at the moment. It's going to be a corner that Calvin Phillips will take for England. It's their 5th corner of this first half. Our corners and set piece is such a feature of England at the last World Cup. Such a high proportion of England's goals came that way. Less so with lower quality delivery so far in this tournament. That one from Phillips headed away by Chaluska. And although England won the second ball and then the third, Luke Shaw forced to go all the way back for Jordan Pickford. 3.5 minutes to go to half-time. England leading by a goal to nil. And let's get the views of Sol Campbell. Sol?
I think now, it's all about maintaining and making sure we're kind of concentrated and make sure every time we get in a good position, let's make it pay. We don't want to get into fabulous positions and the ball goes to waste. So every time, let's get across, let's attack them, let's get a 2-on-1 scenario. Just be relentless.
England trying to bring it forward here with Jack Grealish. Grealish finding Kane inside the penalty area. Kane back onto his left foot, Lowe's getting effort. And in the offside flag came up. Sterling actually turned away, knew he was going to be flagged offside, although it might have come back to him off the goalkeeper. He knew that there was nothing he could have done about that, and it is a free kick. And although the ball did end up in the net with a spectacular long-range shot from distance, the flag was long since up. Well, the good news for Scotland is that they have the first of the 2 they need. It's 1-1 at Hampden Park. McGregor with the equalising goal 3 minutes before half-time. Croatia 1, Scotland 1, which is live for you right now over on TalkSport 2. And that's good news as far as Finland are concerned. It's just a little bit of hope for them, and those boos you hear are the confirmation of that Scotland equalising goal on the big screen here. So England 7, the Czechs 4, Croatia 2, Scotland 2. That's the situation in the group at the moment. And Finland would be given a reprieve as the side who currently have the 4th best record of the 3rd place teams. That's why they're the ones on the knife edge tonight. But a positive result at Hampden Park, and the winners will go through and Finland will be eliminated. 1-1 there, 1-0 England lead in this one. And the Czechs work the ball forward. Look at the Yankto, but it's well over hit. And goes out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Jordan Pickford away to the right-hand side. Speaking to a couple of Czech journalists, Stu, before the game, they said that whilst the Czechs are good at denying the opposition shooting chances, they are prone to teams running at them. They do concede a lot of free kicks, and we've seen England trying to capitalise on that. Obviously the same scouting reports have come England's way, the same evidence in front of their eyes, and they have taken the game to the Czechs whenever they can, trying to run, particularly the two centre-halves, Chaluska and Kalash.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's been a big trait of our team, I think, over recent years, definitely. We're a very athletic side, whether it be Rashford in the team or Sterling or Saka on this occasion. We certainly got players that can burst past people. Even Cole Walker is uncatchable once he's in full stride.
Jack Grealish has just been put on the deck, this time by Safal. And it just takes him 10-15 seconds or so to get up, just adjusting his yellow right boot. He's okay. Harry Maguire will take the free kick for England with just got 20 seconds and maybe a minute of stoppage time to be added. A minute at most, I would think. And 4th official, Serjan Jevalovic, has the numbers ball in his hand. We'll find out in a moment how long it will be. The ball knocked forward. Grealish back for Sterling. Sterling to Declan Rice. Rice on halfway. He works it back inside his own half for Harry Maguire. Maguire fall for Declan Rice, and the half-time whistle goes, and that's England's best 45 minutes of the tournament by a street. Plenty of questions coming into tonight about England's performance. Plenty of individuals who had question marks hanging over their heads, and I think nearly every one of those has been answered in 45 minutes of excellent attacking play. England hitting the post in the opening couple of minutes, hitting the net 10 minutes later. Really good value for a half-time score of England 1, the Czech Republic 0. Well, it's Jordan Henderson who is going to be coming on for England, and Perishevchik who will be marking his arrival for the Czech Republic. As far as Shevchik is concerned, he has come on in both games so far for the Czechs. He came on against Croatia as a right winger and against Scotland as a 10. Jordan Henderson, obviously we know exactly where he is going to be featuring. Just waiting for confirmation as to who exactly is coming off for England.
It's Declan, he's the one missing out there on the pitch at the moment, so almost a like-for-like positional play, would you say, Jim?
Well, Rice is so integral, isn't he, to everything that England do. It makes sense with the situation in the group at the moment, that England can just give him 45 minutes off.
I think it's really good, to get maybe Henderson on, like we spoke earlier about Maguire, getting him a game before the real heat of battle and knockout football. Also, as well, to have a look at Phillips playing in that deep line role like he does for Leeds.
So Phillips will drop back into that slightly deeper role. Jordan Henderson coming on to play as an 8 for England, and Shevchik has replaced Yankto in the Czech Republic midfield. So those are the two changes. So England, Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones, Maguire and Shaw, Henderson and Phillips, Saka, Grealish, Sterling and Kane up front. The Czechs, Vanslik in goal, Safal, Chaluska, Kalash and Bozil, Holeš and Souček, Mazepust, Darida and Shevchik and Schick up front. England in all white, kicking from left to right, and just waiting for the signal from Artur Dias, the Portuguese referee, to get the game back underway. 1-0 to England, and if it stays that way for the next 45 minutes, England will have won the group with 7 points and maintain their unbeaten record It will be his 17th home win in 19 games. It will also guarantee that England will be at Wembley in the round of 16 tie, which is all important. The runner-up of Group F awaits. If England were to win the group, that could be any of the teams in Group F, Portugal, France, Germany or Hungary, all with the ability to finish second. We'll find out who it is together tomorrow night with the last games in that group kicking off at 8 o'clock on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. But England are in early possession with Calvin Phillips finding Carl Walker. Walker will turn it back inside his own half for John Stones. Stones 10 yards outside his own penalty area, goes back for Jordan Pickford. If you finish second in this group, you get the runners-up of Group E, which is Spain's group. May well be Spain. Spain, Poland, Sweden or Slovakia will be one of the teams that will be facing the runner-up of this group. And if you come third, you probably are going to get the Dutch in Budapest. Ball is out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the England right-hand side. It is 1-0 to England at the start of this second half. 1-1 between Croatia and Scotland at Hampden Park. A result that suits neither of them. Kane back here for Jack Grealish. Grealish playing it forward. Kane's got it. Kane doing well to control it and then playing it through the midfield for Luke Shaw. And Shaw can drive forward about 10 yards or so, just pops it off at the feet of Raheem Sterling. No real brisk start to this second half for England, as we've seen in the second half of the two previous games where they've flown out of the traps. Haven't been able to do that quite so far today. Henderson exchanging passes with John Stones. Works it back for the Manchester City centre-half on halfway. He finds Harry Maguire, his good friend, and then Maguire finding Shaw. Shaw will just play the direction that he's facing and so pokes it back towards the edge of his own penalty area, where Maguire comes back and takes another touch, finds Jordan Pickford. England's most attacking players on halfway are just trying to draw the Czech players out. Pickford in launching it forward, couldn't find an England player to flick it on. Now to be turned forward for the run for the substitute Shevchik, but Stones saw him coming and comes across and clears it. He smacked it forward, it's hit Mazepust, and Calvin Phillips plays a horrible ball back for Kyle Walker, which has just drifted over the dead ball line and gone out of play for a cheap Czech corner.
We've just seen what we spoke about at half-time, myself, Sol and Sags, about understanding the tempo of the game, and your best means of defence is almost going forward. We had a perfect opportunity on the halfway line there to play forward. We were slow, laboured, we ended up going back, and now we've got a corner coming in our box.
As corner which Darida is going to stand over. Had the option of taking it short into Bozil, but has waved him away. Instead he works it short in towards the near post area for the runner that has come out, and then as it was played back to him, he drilled a low ball in which Pickford was able to easily clear. There was a coming together actually between him and Saka, and he stayed down hurt. Pickford puts the ball out of play very sportingly so that he can receive whatever treatment is necessary. They have overplayed set pieces at times, haven't they, and resisted the temptation to get decent balls inside the penalty area. That time Darida did get it in, but just got caught by Saka. A genuine collision between the pair of them, but he's okay, he's back on his feet without the need for treatment. 1-0 to England.
I thought the setup was really good, as I say, popped out, back to Darida, but the ball was too short to him. I mean, the setup was good, the movement was good, ball back to him too short, and once again they don't get decent quality in the box, and I'm pleased about that.
Crowd finding their voice. Very encouraged by what they've seen so far on a glorious summer's night here at Wembley, albeit that it's still unseasonably cool. Shaw finding Maguire, and again without wishing to tempt fate, England have had an assuredness about them, this familiar looking back four, albeit it is only the second time that they've played together. It's only the first time actually that Luke Shaw has started successive games for England under Gareth Southgate. Kane's done really well, just chested down, pops it back for Jordan Henderson, who looks to supply him with a return ball. That would have been a brilliant one too. Kane on the stretch couldn't quite reach it, and the Czechs will keep it in right down by the corner flag, and Bozil clears. Calvin Phillips chests it down and wins the seconds, and then bulldozes his way towards the edge of the area, finds Kane. Kane gets towards the byline, he's got support, He plays it back for Saka. First time ball in from Henderson. Little deflection on the cross. Cleared out for Phillips, who resists the temptation to shoot. Recycles it instead by finding Shaw. Little back heel flick from Sterling. Didn't find Shaw. And it'll be cleared by Mazepus for an England throw. Level with the edge of the Czech penalty area.
I've got to say I'm pleased. Henderson has hit the ground running. He's been integral to everything we're doing at the moment. Great interchange with Kane then. Really good understanding between the two. And if you asked me before the game, and what would Gareth want?
Shaw plays it forward towards Sterling, who might just have found himself caught offside had the ball been played into his feet, and the Czechs bring it away.
What would we want before the game? You'd probably turn around and say everybody going into the second phase of this tournament fully fit and firing. And the two question marks we had going into the tournament, Maguire and Henderson. Maguire hopefully getting 90 minutes and Henderson having a good 45 minutes, and all of a sudden we've got everyone fully fit, and you know you can trust everyone if you pick them.
Well, Henderson did come on for 45 minutes against Romania, but it's worth remembering he hasn't started a game for club or country since February the 20th because of his groin problems. That's 4 months that he hasn't been in a position to start a game. But I'm going to get a good 45 minutes under his belt tonight, and he's looked sharp so far. Czech Republic 0, England 1. You've heard from Stuart Pearce. Let's check it again with Sol Campbell for his early thoughts in this second half. Sol?
I think we started okay. I think we just got to make sure we keep on probing. Don't let the Czechs off the hook. Yes, they're going to have possession, but we've got to keep on probing and keep on pushing.
Sol Campbell, Stuart Pearce, alongside me, Jim Prout, and Mark Saggers in the chair. Masterminding all the reaction coming your way from the conclusion of this game through until 11 with our England correspondent Faye Carruthers, who will be speaking to Gareth Southgate, and England's headline makers as well. Declan McCarthy, our in-stadium producer. It's 1-1 in the other game, which is live for you right now between Croatia and Scotland on TalkSport 2. And the Czechs will be able to bring it forward here. Souček has made an excellent advance run. Ball played in just past him. And Saka, who's had an excellent night, showing his good awareness there, dropping right back inside his own penalty area. Just ahead of Kyle Walker, and able to block across as the Czechs got bodies forward, gambling by pushing the midfielders forward there. Saka didn't shirk any defensive responsibility, and that's another big tick for him.
Yeah, fantastic tracking back there. You can tell he's played in a deeper line role as well as, you know, in an advanced area where he is at present.
The Czechs have it again over on the far touchline, which is their right. And they'll just exchange passes between the two defenders. They were winners of this competition when they were Czechoslovakia back in 1976. Panenka scoring his famous penalty to make them European champions. And as the Czech Republic got to the final here at Wembley, the last time they played a tournament match on this ground, when they were beaten by the Bierhoff golden goal by Germany in Euro 96. So close to being in England. Czech Republic final that year. Wasn't to be. The ball is over on the right-hand touchline for the Czechs. Chipped into space again inside the area where Maguire can just let it bounce and roll past him, and it will go out of play. It looks as though another England change is imminent potentially. Marcus Rashford coming on for Harry Kane. I'm led to believe might not be too long in coming. It's 1-0 to England with 9 minutes gone in the second half here on TalkSport. And don't forget, we bring you a podcast to kickstart your day, as we're now the biggest talking points from Euro 2020, all the biggest interviews from the managers and the players that matter. It's the Euro Daily Podcast tomorrow, coming your way on TalkSport app or wherever you get your podcasts. Again, England try and work it forward. There's a new and a half from the crowd as the ball was played in Raheem Sterling's general direction, but the Czechs able to mop up. And for all the positives, and there have been plenty of them for England tonight, there have still only been 5 attempts in 55 minutes. So I don't know whether that would be a source of concern for Gareth Southgate in a game that it feels as though England have been well on top. At the other end, the Czechs have only had one shot on target. Mazepus will play it forward, and it's just want to throw there off Luke Shaw on the Czech Republic right-hand side.
Yeah, I think it's probably the Scots game where we were hoping potentially to have more efforts at goal, if you like, and certainly more goals than we ended up with, that is for sure. But listen, at this stage, we're over 2.5 games into this tournament at the moment, and the fact that we haven't conceded a goal and continuing in that very good vein of form, I have no doubts at all that this team have got the ability to score goals. I have no doubts whatsoever. The one thing that might keep us away from going to the latter stages is how well we defend when it really, really matters. And these are all good tick box exercises, I think.
Well, England have only got through the group stage of one major tournament in their history without conceding a goal. That was the 1966 World Cup.
Oh, Jim, I love your stats, my friend. You've made me feel nice and warm glow about myself now.
Yeah, it was a 0-0 in that one as well. Sags reminds me in the opening game against Uruguay, and some diffident performances and critical reviews. It all ended up all right, didn't it?
It rings a bell. Only this week, doesn't it?
Callas able to play the ball forward here. Down the left-hand side, it'll work its way away past Kyle Walker and out for another throw, which England will take in the right-back position. We're 11 minutes into the second half here on TalkSport, and the pace and the tempo that was there from both sides in the first 45 minutes has just dropped off a bit, and there'll be a little bit of match and tournament management going on. We've seen that with the substitutions already. Both sides knowing that they're going through, knowing that the result of this one to some extent is academic. Jordan Pickford looked as though he was going to come outside his penalty area there, and then correctly judged that it wasn't his to play and that Kyle Walker will be able to take charge, and he just looked like a cartoon character for a moment, stuck on the edge of a cliff, arms going out, making sure that he didn't step off into thin air, but he got back inside his penalty area, and Walker shepherded the ball over the line anyway and had a play for a goal kick, which England have taken quickly. John Stones has got it, 12th goal in the second half, and it is 1-0 to England. Stones finding Maguire. Play forward by Maguire to Jack Grealish. Grealish hasn't really had the opportunity to try and take on any of the Czech players in the second half. He just showed the ball to Shevchik and nudged it past him, and then after possession was turned over, Calvin Phillips came back and conceded a free kick.
Standard of refereeing's very good again, and he's been really sensible again, the referee tonight. He's pulled up on things that he's had to. He's not got card happy in any way, shape or form. He could have comfortably booked Phillips then, to be quite honest with you, and let things go.
And that's the one thing that England don't want. They don't want an accumulation of yellow cards. Phil Foden, the only player booked for England in the tournament so far, and to make sure that he avoids a potential suspension, he's not in the matchday squad today. He's the only available player who isn't. And the other two absentees are Mount and Chilwell, and they will almost certainly be absent for the second round tie as well. They can't come out of isolation until the 28th of June. Stones, after an England throw, back for his goalkeeper Pickford. Pickford clears it left-footed. Still 1-1 at Hampden between Croatia and Scotland. Live for you right now on 2 as the ball is played forward and the offside flag is up, and it's a free kick to the Czechs, level with the edge of the centre circle. And the goal does change things. You have to remember that if England were to concede, the Czechs would go top of the group. But as things stand, it is England who would win the group with 7 points and would play here at Wembley next on the 29th. Another change is imminent, and it's the unmistakable figure of Alex Kral with a touch of the David Luiz or Sideshow Bob about him, who will be coming on very shortly. He's a defensive-minded midfielder. May well be Holesh who he replaces. Those two have been largely interchangeable for the Czechs in this tournament so far. Ball's gone out for another throw, which will be taken by the Czechs. It's really fragmented at the moment, very stop-start. 14 minutes into the second half, the Czechs work it back, all the way back for their goalkeeper, Tomáš Vašlík. And Vašlík takes a touch and just chips it down towards the left-hand touchline. Bozil did get there ahead of Kyle Walker and was able to knock it away. Bozil then brings it further forward, works it through the midfield and out towards the Czech Republic right-hand side. Opportunity for Sofan to deliver. Out comes Pickford, punches it clear. Seconds one on the edge of the penalty area, importantly by Jordan Henderson. And he's just toe-punting it forward. He's been able to find Harry Kane. Kane now with an opportunity to try and run at Chaluska, who in the end is able to block him off. and England win a throw midway inside the Czechs' half. That was excellent striking play there by Harry Kane. No options around him, able to hold it up for a long time and win a throw.
Yeah, first cross we've had there of this game, and Pickford elected to punch. I think it was probably on to catch, if I'm being quite honest with you, but he cleared the box with a punch, so credit to him.
Stones plays it forward here for Henderson. Saka has a lovely turn, got the better of Boswell. That'll be a yellow card and a suspension. And the left back is going to be out of their round of 16 tie. That's his second yellow card of the tournament. It's a brilliant turn by Bukayo Saka. I mentioned early in the game that Saka had Boswell on toast when the two met at club level in the Europa League back in early April. And Saka far too good for him there. And that's a big yellow card as far as the Czechs are concerned, as Boswell will miss the round of 16 tie through suspension.
Yeah, I think he'll be pleased to see the back of Saka, both for club and country.
Well, he couldn't quite turn quickly enough to see the back of him there. That was the problem. Saka stands over this free kick. The Czechs are keeping a high line, a couple of yards outside the box. England making runs inside the area. It's nodded in and away and out of play for a corner that the assistant referee flags near side, and the offside flag is up, and it's a free kick which will be taken by the Croatians about 13-14 yards from their dead ball line. Well, Scotland needed a goal to get themselves ahead and keep their Euro hopes alive, but they have just conceded. Luka Modric giving Croatia a 2-1 lead at Hampden Park. Rasping drive from just inside the D, flying past David Marshall, brilliantly hit with the outside of the right boot. Croatia 2, Scotland 1 at Hampden Park, and the Scots are going out and Finland are going out as well as things stand because of that goal, and Croatia would go through in third place with the scores as they are there and here. It looked like a handball by Grealish, and the referee agrees as he was trying to get away from Holesh. And the Czechs take it quickly, working out towards the right-hand side, still trailing by a goal. Holesh has come closer than anybody for the Czechs to scoring. And forced an excellent save out of Pickford. Back for Souček, who had one effort drift just wide in the first half. Souček with a nice angle ball out for Safal. Two players who were club teammates in the Czech Republic as well as now in East London. Polish way back to his feet as he goes down on the edge of the penalty area, and England are able to bring it forward as the England fans are told about the news from Hampden Park. Shevchik, Polish still not back on his feet. Sterling just making Mazepus aware that they've got a player down injured, and now Darida will put it out so that Polish can receive whatever treatment is necessary. 18 gone in the second half. Czech Republic 0, England 1. Get the views of Stuart Pearce in a moment. But Sol Campbell, are you still happy with the way things are going with less than half an hour to go?
I think now it's all about maintaining. You know, sometimes when the game is a bit bitty, it's all about keeping your concentration, maintaining your quality, whatever you do. This is times when you've got to really kind of maintain that football ability, that concentration, the mental side, and pick the right moment to kind of get another goal.
Double change is going to be made by the Czechs. Darida is the first player who's coming off, and Alex Kral is on for him. And they're also going to bring on one of the hottest young striking properties in continental football, Adam Hlozek, just 18 years of age, who scored 15 goals in 19 league games this season for Sparta Prague, which is a decent enough return at any stage of your career, let alone right at the start of it. And Hlozek is on for Mazepus. Now, whether that means that they go two up top, or whether they'll play Hlozek just off Schick, it looks as though that is what they're going to do. He will drift out towards the left-hand side, and Kral is going to play in an advanced role almost as a 10. Czechs deciding that they're going to have to try and go for it. Hlozek scored 4 goals inside the opening half hour or so of his last league match, and it'd be interesting to see how he fares here. He has come off the bench in the first 2 games of the tournament and gets 25 minutes tonight. 1-0 England lead. In the second half in which chances have been at a premium at either end. Croatia 2, Scotland 1 the score at Hampden. and they will finish third in the group as things stand right now. England would win it. Ball goes out to the Czech Republic right, where it's played forward. Kral has just caught Calvin Phillips as the two went for the aerial challenge, and it's an England free kick, and Marcus Rashford is now getting ready, and Jude Bellingham as well. An England 17-year-old is going to be brought on in a moment, and that will be England's second and third changes. Harry Maguire stepping up from the defensive line. Just can't quite find Saka with a well-intentioned ball. He got the angle right, but just stepping forward onto it, Boswell was able to get that away. Back it goes for John Stones inside the England half. And now Saka, and he can bring it forward. And there's a real buzz of expectation goes around Wembley whenever he picks up possession. Grealish goes wide to the England left-hand side, and Sterling's been fouled, and it's a free kick which will be taken in a promising position for England after the foul by Safar. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, the game sort of meandered along a little bit without too much action in either 18-yard box, and probably for England that suits us better than the Czechs, as we're winning the game at the moment. So I'd be more than happy with a second goal just to calm the nerves down and probably just underline our superiority, I think.
If England can hang on here, it will be only a sixth win in the last 18 matches at major tournaments since they beat Ukraine back in Euro 2012. Beaten Wales, Tunisia, Panama, Sweden and Croatia in this tournament during that time. England poised to make the double change, and Raheem Sterling is the first player that's coming off. He leaves behind the goal and gets a big ovation from the England supporters all around this stadium, and he'll be replaced by Marcus Rashford. And the other change is going to see Jack Grealish withdrawn, and Jude Bellingham will come on to replace him. So Bellingham and Rashford for Grealish and Sterling. Double change for England midway through this second half.
Yeah, I think Gareth's got the opportunity here to look at one or two. I think Grealish has had a decent evening. Certainly Sterling has, getting that goal. They've come out with credit, and a lot's been thought about. Rashford needs to come to the party a little bit, just struggling for a bit of form, and Bellingham, I think there's one or two who've got high hopes for him.
Ball inside the penalty area from the free kick. It looked as though Harry Maguire was wrestled to the ground. The referee and the officials didn't agree. Whether the VAR will be having a look at it. No notification on our screens yet that is the case. Stones has gone back for Kyle Walker. Walker now finds Jude Bellingham, still a week or so short of his 18th birthday. Bellingham picking it up and angling a 60-yard ball all the way back to his goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. Well, interesting that whilst changes are being made, still no sign of Jadon Sancho as yet.
I think what you've got to understand, Jim, is, Gareth and his coaching staff work with these players day in, day out, and it's important that you understand that. They'll see whether they think players are showing good form in training, whether they can handle the occasion. If they can, you pick up little detail, if you like, in training, and that will influence player selection.
Of course. Here's Phillips playing it forward now for Bellingham. Good movement off the ball from the Borussia Dortmund player. Knocked away through the midfield though by the Czechs, who have it at the back. Safar winning the free kick. 20 yards inside their own half. An opportunity to try and get it forward quickly. Looks as though tempers are frayed in that match at Hampden Park, incidentally, where Scotland is still trailing Croatia by 2-1. They need 2 goals in the last 20 minutes there to keep their tournament hopes alive. Otherwise they will be going out. If they score 1, they could yet take Croatia out. So Czech is dropping in a little bit deeper now on the right-hand side of the midfield for the Czechs, almost playing as a right-hand centre half. Ball played down to Boswell. Left back making his way forward. In he goes to the feet of Sevcik in the midfield for the Czechs. He's just chipped it forward. Luke Shaw's there to knock it away. Now to be played down the left-hand side for Rashford. Rashford with a good step over. Excellent challenge to win it back though from Sevcik. And Kral will be able to win it back in his blue boots and try and turn it away from Bellingham, but just turned the wrong way and ends up putting it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England left-hand side. 20 to go. England 20 minutes away from winning this group without conceding a goal.
Just looking at our central midfield area, with Henderson coming back and getting 45 minutes of football, Phillips dropping back into that holding slot that Ricey has vacated. Be interesting, there'll be one or two selection problems in that area. It's almost 2 from 3 now.
That certainly will be an interesting subject line of debate going into the next game as to if everybody's fit, what's the best combination, not necessarily the two best players, but what's the best pairing in there for England. Here's John Stones. That might be something that you want to have your say on with the boys on the sports bar tonight when we finish here at Wembley at 11. Jason and Andy taking your calls on TalkSport 08717 223344. You can get your calls in, have your say on national radio from 11 o'clock tonight. The ball is played over the top and chased towards the edge of the penalty area by Saka, but coming out to pick it up, it'll be very comfortably claimed by goalkeeper Thomas Faslick. 71 gone, Czechs 0, England 1 here on TalkSport.
What we haven't done this second half, and that was one of the few balls played over the top, we've not done that to turn them round, to stretch them a little bit, but I think in the run of the game we've been quite happy. The same balls that were coming in our box seem to have dried up a little bit, haven't they, in the second half, which is looked like their best route of potentially scoring, I think.
Similar kind of second half performance that England have shown tonight, that they put up against Croatia, really, where they just try to starve the opposition of possession. And if you look at the second half statistics, shots none for either side, and we're 27 minutes in.
I'll tell you who's played well tonight without catching the eye, Cole Walker. He's done everything sensibly, you know. He's been pretty decent with his passing, he's cleared up things at the far post, he's just been, you know, sometimes you see an air of panic in his play on occasion. Tonight he's been a consummate professional, I think.
Maguire heads the ball down here for the aforementioned Kyle Walker, back to his club teammate John Stones. Stones looking up, Rashford made an early darting run in from the left hand side, but Stones resisted the temptation to try and find him. Rashford playing out on the left, Saka on the right, came through the middle at the moment for England. Bellingham making a good third man run forward from midfield. Back it goes for Henderson, the defensive linchpin of this midfield alongside Calvin Phillips. A double pivot in there again in this second half. Stones now comes forward, takes on the first Czech player and the second. Loose ball might break for Kane, but it's just knocked away and cleared further down the left-hand side by the centre-half Kalash of Bristol City. Player who only made a couple of Premier League appearances, but more than 200 in the Championship behind him. Bristol City and for Middlesbrough as well. Bellingham back for Henderson. Henderson now to Harry Maguire. And it's Maguire's turn this time to make his way forward and get towards the edge of the area and almost slip it in for Bellingham. Hollish came back and knocks it away, and England have their first corner of the second half. 73 gone, and it's still 1-0 to England.
I think England are playing a real air of professionalism now, if you like. You know, we're mopping things up. Potential counter-attacks or build-up play from the Czechs are being snuffed out comfortably in their half or just inside our own half, and we're dominating the play, but once again, goals dictate games.
Stones has made a very late run in here to join the contingent, but that was another poor England set-piece delivery. Luke Shaw hitting the first man at the near post. It's clear, but only as far as the England back line. Saka, who dropped back in there, found Phillips. Phillips worked it forward, not to good effect. He's able to mop up again, but in a slightly deeper position. Now Walker's got it. Walker playing it forward. Stones controls it with his right instep. The second touch became a tackle, and it was knocked away from him by Safal. And now breaking forward up the left-hand touchline, here's Flozek. And the young substitute is able to find Kral. Kral gets towards the byline, whips it in, and hits Walker, and goes out of play for a corner.
Yeah, first time for a little while that the Czechs have been up and around our box, and they got the opportunity here to whip a corner in. Just going back to England's last corner, that once again Luke Shaw failing to beat the first man. Really poor corner. It's something that hopefully we can improve on as we go through the tournament.
Well, the Czechs are going to make a change before the corner is taken. Schick is off, and Thomas Peckart, who was on the books of Tottenham and Southampton early in his career, is the man that has come on to replace him. So England have been able to keep the tournament's joint leading scorer very quiet tonight. Schick's hardly had a sniff. Peckart, that little bit taller, a player who was in prolific form, is the top scorer in the Polish league this season with 22 in 25 games. That's earned him an international recall after more than 7 years out of the picture. And Peckart is on for his first major tournament experience. 15 to go. It's 1-0 England, but they've got a corner to defend. And Peckart is a prolific aerial target to attack this. Swung inside the 6-yard box and headed away. Stones there first. And that was a good piece of defending. Goes out for a throw, which Shevchik is told to leave. Mazepust will come across. Nice Bojel, I beg your pardon. Takes it. Short. Back into the feet of Shevchik. Another high ball angled inside the penalty area, but Pickford can watch that one go, and it hits the red hoardings behind the goal, just in front of our England correspondent Faye Carruthers, and goes out of play for a goal kick. Sol Campbell, England's match management has been excellent in this second half. Nothing going forward, but they have denied a side chasing the game a single shot of note. Yeah,
and that's being professional as well. You know, regardless of what's going on in front of you, the Czechs have had possession, but England have kept them at bay. They've snuffed out everything, all their kind of moves. You know, look at that last ball going out for a throw-in, for a goal kick. So it's good. We're learning how we're managing the game.
Harry Maguire playing the ball down towards Luke Shaw on the England left-hand side. Last time these two sides met, the Czechs did strike late in the game. There was a debut goal from Ondrashek, who came off the bench and won it for the Czechs 2-1. There had been 1-1 inside the opening 10 minutes that day. 1-0 to England after 12 tonight, and more than an hour after that, they still have that advantage against their name. Henderson playing it down for Kyle Walker. Walker's put under pressure by Klozek and goes back for Jordan Pickford, who just opens up the left instep to get it away. Forward over the head of Harry Kane on halfway. Kane then wins it and was caught by Kalash, and the referee said that there's nothing untoward with that. It's just a racing accident between the two players. Kane's back on his feet. He hasn't half given the assistant referee a dirty look, and we'll give Kalash one in a moment as well. Play goes on. Chaluska bringing the ball forward, finding Souček. Souček inside the centre circle. Wonderful range of passing on him that we're now so familiar with. And Kyle Walker climbs high and nods it away from Bojel. Out of play for a Czech throw. As England ready, Tyrone Mings. He will be coming on very shortly. He's just getting his final instructions. And that roar that you've heard is news of a third Croatia goal. The Scots are going out. Croatia 3, Scotland 1. And that just has a few ramifications, incidentally, as far as the Czechs are concerned, of which more in a moment. But Tyrone Mings coming on here for John Stones.
Yeah, it gives another cap to Tyrone Mings. He'll be pleased to get back on the pitch and just have a look at him, pairing him up with Maguire. And it's another tick box, I think, in regard to what comes ahead and the options that Gareth potentially might have in games.
Maguire's moved to the right of the two centre halves here, with Mings playing in his favoured position on the left. 11 minutes to go. Czechs 0, England 1. Saka able to bring the ball forward, and it goes out of play for a throw. It'll be taken by Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, as I say, Mings pairing him up. What you want, as many options as you possibly can. I swapped texts with Gareth early in the week, and I said your team selection is going to be absolutely vital now. And coming out the Scotland game, there was 1 or 2 question marks, either-ors and whatever, and I think he's got that right once again, I've got to say. And his substitutions and what they throw up as well in the game going forward have been really important.
Walker with a long aerial switch of play out towards Luke Shaw on the England left-hand side. Back for Calvin Phillips. Phillips to Maguire, play forward by Maguire, little step over from Jordan Henderson. Now Kyle Walker can bring the ball forward. He works it through the midfield in towards the feet of Jude Bellingham. It's still 1-0 to England here on Talk Sport. 3-1 Croatia leads Scotland. Scots are heading out, Croatia are going through. Finland will be eliminated as a result of that as well. Now as things stand, Croatia leading 3-1. It's a 3-goal swing as far as they're concerned with the Czechs, and they've also scored 3 more than the Czechs, and that means that Croatia are now second in the group and the Czechs are down to third. I mean, they will still be going through. It's so close. You talked about my crib sheet earlier. I've got about 20 different lines and combinations of things that can happen.
You've been waiting for this moment all night, haven't you?
Do you know what? All I've learned is that I've prepped it in a format that isn't up to purpose. It's too complicated to work out what's going on, even though I've got it all written in front of me.
So where would that send the Czechs now then?
England at top of the group. That's all you need to know.
Okay, all right.
I think that the Czechs are third, and that they would be facing the Netherlands in Budapest, because there's a 3-goal swing in terms of goal difference, and Croatia have scored 3 goals more than the Czechs. So Croatia second in the group and the Czechs third. As things stand at the moment, that means that it would be Croatia who would be playing the runners-up of Group E. That's going to be Spain, Poland, Sweden or Slovakia. And England will be playing the runners-up of Group F. So that will be Portugal, France, Germany or Hungary, here at Wembley on the 29th. That's a week tonight. 1 goal for the Czechs here, and they go top of the group. England will be second and Croatia will go back down to third. Here's Saka with a chance to drive forward and just flick it out towards the England right hand side for Henderson. Henderson back for Walker to Phillips back for Walker again, and Walker goes back inside his own half for Harry Maguire to Tyrone Mings. There's 8 minutes to go. Czechs 0, England 1. Ball driven down towards the England right-hand side for Jordan Henderson is easily headed away. Klozak has it now. Souček put under immediate pressure in the midfield by Phillips. Phillips can't win the ball back, and Souček will just flick it down towards the left-hand side for Jan Božil. Božil chipping it forward on the outside of the right boot. Kral will give chase, and Maguire will turn it back for his goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. Pickford's put under pressure by Pekart and got it away. Sent it back though towards the edge of the penalty area by the Czechs here. Now an opportunity for Souček. Souček drilled it at Pekart, who shot to the deflection. No deflection. He's just shanked it straight wide. 1-0 to England, 7 to go.
Yeah, just a little bit languid on the ball there was Pickford, and ended up scalping one to Souček, to Kufel. From there the attack was built up.
Well, there's going to be a big ovation here for Bukayo Saka, who will leave the field, and that's England's final change. He can be mightily pleased with his night's work. He has been superb, played a major part in the goal, hasn't looked at all out of place on his tournament debut as a 19-year-old. He's a player with a burgeoning reputation, and he's enhanced it even further tonight. And a big roar for this man who comes on to replace him, Jadon Sancho, playing in Euro 2020 for the first time.
Yeah, Sancho will be pleased to get on the pitch, but when you talk about individuals, I think Saka's performance in obviously the same position has been outstanding this evening. Very, very good.
And the Czechs have made their final change as well. Holeš coming off, and Mate Vidra of Burnley, who came off the bench for the final 20 minutes against Scotland, gets 6 minutes tonight. So another body upfield. Croatia 3, Scotland 1. Scotland are going to be eliminated. England are going to win the group as things stand. Second place we've got to Croatia, and third to the Czechs with the scores as they are at the moment. Sol Campbell, part of our commentary team tonight. Sol, I'm just going to ask you in a couple of minutes for a couple of pieces of constructive criticism for England. It has been a good night. The scoreline all important. The performance has been so much further north of what we've seen really over the course of the tournament so far. Just in a minute I'll come to you for any constructive criticism, anything you think that England still need to improve upon over the the knockout stages.
I think obviously, we'd love to get some more shots on targets. We want to be in and around their box and causing the Czechs problems. But overall, it's been a fantastic performance by everybody. Everybody's kind of, done their business and done it professionally. It's good.
England take a throw, the Czechs, I beg your pardon, take a throw quickly, looking for Souček. Now Král will be able to bring it forward, and Rashford has come back and tracked him. Has done well to put his foot in. Lays it back for Tyrone Mings. Mings now to Shaw. Now with 5 minutes to go, Luke Shaw can bring it forward. Rides the sliding challenge that comes in on him. England have got Jadon Sancho in space on the right, and Rashford has played him in here. England leading 1-0, but hungry for more. Sancho, right-hand side of the area, finds Rashford. Rashford takes it on and has beaten his man and pulls it back. Just away from the onrushing Jordan Henderson. Might get a second opportunity. And he's threading it in for two. His first international goal. But the flag is up. Well, celebrations were only muted. I think maybe he appreciated that perhaps he was offside. But the flag is up against Jordan Henderson and it remains at 1.
It looked like a Czech player played that ball. I'll be interested to see when they look. No, I think it was Bellingham who poked it forward. I thought it was a backward pass for a moment. Oh, I tell you what.
Well, they're going to have a look at it, obviously. It's Bellingham and Ševčík have both tried to play the ball at the same time. Now, who got the touch? I think it is Bellingham, actually, from that angle. The previous one that we saw was inconclusive at best. No doubt that Henderson was in an offside position if it was Bellingham that had played the ball, and that is the verdict. And as a consequence, the goal doesn't stand, and Jordan Henderson still waits for his first goal for his country. Probably a little bit unfair of me to mention it at this time, but he has now made more appearances without scoring for England than any other midfielder in their history. Now, this is his 60th game for his country tonight. 3 minutes to go. Czech Republic 0, England 1. Jordan Henderson coming on tonight has now played in 3 different European Championships. He featured a couple of times in Euro 2012 when he replaced the injured Frank Lampard before the tournament started. 1 game in 2016 and on for his first in Euro 2020 in 21. 87 on the clock, Czech Republic 0, England 1 and Croatia 3, Scotland 1 in the other game in the group.
I'm a little bit surprised that Henderson's not scored more goals, or any goals really, in his international career, because he's got good energy to get from box to box. He's got decent technique striking the ball, and he's got the credentials to be a goal scorer.
Tyrone Mings with a free kick for England. Hit long into the North London night sky. Bounces away from Harry Kane. And then is brought down on the right-hand side of the midfield by Jadon Sancho. Henderson's done really well with the ball in his feet in a very tight corridor on the right-hand touchline, just to flick it back round the corner, drag it back. England able to then to bring it forward and find Phillips to Shaw. Shaw continuing his run, little give and go. Still Shaw goes and is brought down. No advantage. And the referee, in fact, has waved Shaw back up to his feet. Well, he was much closer than me, but I'm very surprised that he didn't give a free kick England's way there. Pickford clearing his lines, left-footed from the edge of the 6-yard box. High ball forward. Still, England haven't had a shot to save in this second half as yet. 90 seconds of normal time to go. That plus stoppage time, that's all that England have to successfully navigate to get out of the group as group winners without having conceded a goal.
Well, I think it's been a very workmanlike performance. Some good performances within that. Fingers crossed, another clean sheet. Takes some doing at international level. 3 clean sheets on the pop.
Long ball forward from Pickford. Harry Kane able to head it on. And away from Marcus Rashford, out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Czech right-hand side. So, we're in the 90th minute. England nearly there.
Almost there. It's just nice to kind of, now we're almost there. I think just really maintaining, really. Don't do anything silly and see if we can nick a goal here.
Opportunity to bring it forward. Sancho was waiting. It was a vital header away by Kalash as he was played into him by Rashford. Luke Shaw wins the seconds. He's worked it back for Mings, and Mings had to take a touch because initially his route back to Jordan Pickford and Sanctuary was blocked off, but he was able to guide it back effectively enough in the end, and England will just bring it forward with Maguire. Maguire to Mings, back for Pickford again. And cleared long by Jordan Pickford. Czechs mop up, go back to their goalkeeper. 3 minutes of stoppage time. The Czechs will finish third in this group as things stand at the moment. As I say, it's most likely they'll face the Netherlands in Budapest. If Poland beats Sweden tomorrow, they could well be the winners of Spain's group in Glasgow, which is their next appointment. Which, if that's not Spain, actually isn't too bad a draw. Ball is over on the right-hand side. Spain with only 2 points in their 2 games so far. We'll find out how they get on tomorrow. They kick off at 5 o'clock as the action continues on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 in the Euro. Spain taking on Slovakia. Sweden against Poland over on TalkSport 2. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. It's Portugal-France at 8. And Germany-Hungary on TalkSport 2. And England will find out who they're playing. We're in stoppage time. It's Maguire. Plays it back for Kyle Walker. Walker just down to the England right-hand side for Henderson. He's lost out. Kral's got it. Late opportunity potentially for the Czechs, and he's fired it way over the bar.
Yeah, just Henderson and Walks just got a little bit complacent there, it's fair to say. And Kral hit one from a place you can't score from, basically.
Yeah, certainly one to file under optimistic that. England off to a fine, fast start tonight, and then have just been able to manage the game very effectively in the second half. And that's a successful recipe, if you can pull it off. England, not spectacular going forward in the second half, they haven't had to be, but so much more purpose and encouragement about the way they played in the first 45 minutes, which undoubtedly has been their best 45 minutes of the tournament so far. And the vast majority of the crowd of 19,000 here at Wembley tonight are going to be going home happy. Just a minute of stoppage time to go. Czechs play it forward again. Another long ball hoisted high towards the edge of the penalty area. Maguire repels it, sends it forward. Kane chasing after it. Awkward bounce. Callas, though, just got there first ahead of Kane and was able to nod it back to his goalkeeper. 40 seconds to go.
Callas done well there. That was a horrible ball to deal with for defenders. Just not long enough for the goalkeeper, and you've got to deal with a bouncing ball going back to your own goal.
One last chance then for the Czechs potentially to get the goal that will take them top of the group. Tyrone Mings in making the challenge. The offside flag has come up, and it's a free kick which will be taken by England, and by the time they spotted it down, Jordan Pickford to take it. That'll be that. And England, that's a job well done. Hasn't been spectacular, no one will pretend it has been. Played 3, won 2, conceded none. Not too bad.
More than happy with that. The key to tournament football is to get out of the group, and get out of the group with a minimum of economy, if you like. No suspensions, that type of thing, and we've achieved that.
For the first time since the 1966 World Cup, England get out of the group of a major tournament without conceding a single goal. 7 points from 9. They finished top of the group. The parallels with 1966 are statistical only at the moment, but you just never know. England, unspectacular, but effective. They got the job done tonight, beating the Czechs by a goal to nil. Roll on the round of 16.